Titles, go.
Burrito Brews?
Scum saving.
Pinball Rockstar.
I am Scorbit.
Mama's KO.
Too much firepower.
Is it a burrito?
That's a
There's a
toilet
dog
paper
bone.
roll. No?
It's a dog toy.
It's a burrito.
What the fuck is
Turn into the camera.
Turn it.
It is a toilet paper.
That's what I said.
Firepower!
Listen, while he was filming, while we were doing this, he had to take his shit.
No.
Did you just fucking shit in your chair?
His
Life
shares
of
are
me.
ruined.
Lazy
I haven't done that
fuck.
since I was 24.
You guys are all missing it. That's Jack's fleshlight.
It is. It totally is.
New
Wow.
title.
New title.
Was that bonus title?
Right.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm core.
I'm
you see,
Kevin. I'll make sure I say my full name. Kevin. Hi.
Okay, I'll be Jack.
DC.
I'm DC.
Go in order you were added. It's not hard.
Guys, what's got you
Fuck.
geeked?
Oh boy.
Well, what has me geeked is I have moved closer to potentially owning a real pinball machine. But there's still a lot up in the air. Now, a few years back, Stern released a few home edition games. And they've done several, but the two main ones are there's a Star Wars home edition and there's a Jurassic Park home edition. Now, they got a lot of flack because people said, "Oh, they're cheaper, they're made of different materials, things like that to cut costs so that you could actually have it in your home." The Star Wars one actually was a version of the Star Wars table with elements removed, so it was a watered down version of an existing table. The Jurassic Park, however, was a brand new design, and I'm going to get to that in a second. So as it turns out, we've come now, they've been out for a few years. And what we found out is the MDF that they make the playfield out of instead of, the wood actually holds up incredibly well. In fact, better than wood playfields. So, no dimpling where the ball lands and anything like that. And everything they've done to put it together, like the legs that go on and all that, they actually have pre-drilled holes. So they didn't drill through the MDF, which is the one thing you don't want to do. So basically, the way they put it together is the way you want to put it together if you want to make a quality product out of some materials that don't cost as much. So while they cut corners, they also didn't cut corners. Now, let's fast forward to just last week when Costco began selling Jurassic Park Home Edition. Now, this is a new release of the game. It's not the same one they released a few years ago. This new release has some extra bells and whistles. It's got, instead of light bulbs, it's all LED, because that was one of the things people complained about, is the bulbs would go out. They've improved, I guess from what I'm seeing, it's actually a wood playfield this time, so people can't complain about that. It also has Stern's Insider Connected, which is basically there's a little reader in the corner of it, and you take your phone, you pull up your Stern app, it pulls up a QR code, you stick it on there, boom, it connects you to Stern Insider Connected. And as you play, you have access to leaderboards, achievements, and all sorts of really cool stuff that I do. Like when I play Jaws or Venom down at Trapper's Pizza Pub, I'm earning stuff. When I walk away, I can see what I've earned, and that kind of the experience perpetuates. So adding that to the game is really awesome. But here's the big thing. The big thing is that when I said this is a new design, it's a new design by somebody called Jack Danger. Now, if you're a pinball fan, you've probably heard the name Keith Elwin. He is pretty much the rock star in the pinball industry for the past 10 years. He's created most of the modern Sterns, including Godzilla, which is considered to be possibly the best pinball table of all time. The guy's a genius when it comes to pinball. Now, Jack Danger is a guy that used to host a YouTube channel called Dead Flip, and he would review pinball games, and he would actually do playthroughs and stuff like that with multiple cameras, and you could see the playfield and talking people through it. He also would do some design stuff, on a computer and show people, his pinball designs. Well, Stern noticed this years ago. They brought him on to kind of be some sort of community liaison, kind of letting them know what people wanted, which ended up in a job at Stern, and he actually designed the Jurassic Park home pin. So it's a completely brand new design. Well, it's the design's been out for a few years, but it's not like their other really expensive Jurassic Park pinball machines. And what's cool about it is it's got everything. People rave that this, even though this is a home edition, this is a really good table. It's got a ball jump, which is something that they haven't really seen since like the RoboCop pinball table back in the 90s. It's got a working T-Rex head that the ball can go in and it'll go roar and spit it out. And we think a lot of people are mad because the Pro Edition, which is the lower level of their games, in the regular Jurassic Park, that Tyrannosaurus Rex head doesn't move. It's just a bash toy. It doesn't do anything. But on the cheaper version, it does. This is a really cool pinball table. And Costco's selling it for basically $5,000, which is $1,000 below what Stern is selling it for.
$7,000 is on their website.
On Costco?
Well, on Stern's website.
Yeah, it's selling for $5,000 on a Costco. So I am working my way into being able to get that into my house. I just have to figure out where I'm going to put it. But I'm very excited about it, and the fact that it was designed by Jack Danger, I will touch on that again later when we talk about games, because there's more here to talk about. And he is probably the next star when it comes to pinball design.
You ever heard of Scorbit?
I have.
Okay, so Scorbit is a digital. As soon as you said Stern had a way for you to see your like global standings or whatever, it made me think. I knew of a guy that worked for Scorbit. And what Scorbit is it's a board you can add to any pinball machine. So it works with and then it works with Spooky, Stern, American, Bally, whatever, Midway, Gottlieb, Williams, Data East, Capcom, Stern, Second. It works with all of them.
Yeah.
And what it does is it would get your global scores, but what it also does is it has a global leaderboard of their own. But it adds that global aspect to any pinball game.
I mean, that's cool, but there's a lot more to Insider Connected. There are achievements that you can earn for each table. And I just discovered last time I played Jaws, I have been accumulating shark teeth, and you can use those shark teeth to buy into special modes and special events. And what they'll do is, like on a holiday, like in July, they had a special Jaws event, which was like a completely different mode of the game that they added into the code. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. Scorbit's cool. This is something more.
Oh, no. All it does is that internet enables the pinball machine.
Yeah.
If you use Stern, you use Stern. It's just the device behind it is all.
Gotcha.
That's all it is.
And all this time, I thought Corbs was Scorbit.
Sherbert? Are we talking about Sherbert?
I mean, that would be a good nickname for him.
That's neat.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I can make it happen.
Oh,
Because my wife's not letting me buy a $7,000 machine.
But maybe a $5,000 one.
I'm trying to knock about $1,200 off that. So we'll see.
Well, if you use your Costco card, you can get money back for it.
the 30th
Actually-
anniversary version is $13,000.
Yeah, I know. I have a Costco card now. I didn't mean to have one, but I do.
There you go.
What's a ball jump?
Basically, you shoot the ball up one ramp, and there's a gap, and it jumps over the T-Rex head and lands on the other ramp.
That's neat.
Kind of like when Fonzie jumped over the shark.
Hey.
Kind of velociraptor.
All right, so
Neat.
I'll go next. Week 1. I know we said not to talk about it, but I can't. I'm too
I'm
excited.
cutting it.
I
am
know.
cutting this whole part.
What
Well,
are you talking
said
about?
it. That's
I'll
stupid.
just, you know what? I'm just gonna bleep over what he says. Go ahead, Jack.
Whatever. No, I'm not going to talk. That's fine.
He's like, no,
It's stupid. One
you're
person.
stupid. Get your own
Uh,
show then.
All
Go ahead, Jack. I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
So it is your show. That's exactly what
No.
we all thought.
right.
That's right.
So
There was a
I-
doubt.
it was actually what got me
No.
geeked last year too,
Not at
though.
all.
DC and Corbs can relate though. Week 1 of professional NFL is a great time of the year. It's like Christmas. All teams are 0-0, which is cool. Nobody has winning records or losing records. I'm just really excited for the Eagles for sure because that's my team. But I have to miss the game on Friday because I'm going to a concert, but they're going to be in Brazil, which will be really entertaining. Can't remember a team the Eagles have had though that they've had a star running back, 2 star receivers, a tight end, and a great offensive line, like an offense with this so much firepower in my lifetime.
Too much firepower.
It's insane. Like, can they really get this to work? Like, I was listening to a podcast with Donovan McNabb, and he's like, no comment. Yes, because he only had Brian Westbrook and all that, but whatever. Things happen, whatever. But I've been listening. What? Go ahead.
It's too much. Somebody's not going to get the ball enough. Who's the one that's going to eat the bullet on that end? Is it
I don't
Saquon?
know.
Is it Jalen Hurts not running the ball as much? You can't take that from him because that's his game. He has to do that. Do you not throw the ball to AJ Brown? He's
That's
going to
a
be
problem.
mad. Do you not throw the ball to is it Devontae Smith?
Andre Smith, yeah.
But we got Jahan Dotson too, so he's
Right.
another first-round pick. So
Great.
we'll see what happens.
There's not enough balls to go around everybody. Somebody's going to be upset.
But you're absolutely right. But if they keep winning, then when you're winning, there's no problems. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I predicted 12-5 season, but it can be as low as 10-7. So we don't know what's going to happen. But what's really cool, I've been listening to this guy, Thomas Mott and Justin Davis. They only had 10 views when they started their podcast, maybe a year ago. Now they're up to 100,000, but I listen to it every day, which is pretty cool. Like I was like, how do these guys get so many views? But they get all these sponsorships. It's pretty cool to listen to see what their takes are. So it's kind of nice to see that.
I bet
go
the
ahead.
reason they have sponsorships is because everyone on their podcast uses the right fucking background.
Probably.
But I believe it. I believe it.
Professionalism.
It's really cool though to watch how these guys have evolved from like maybe their first show to the show they're on now because like I said, like they've evolved so much. But watching football this season's gonna be really good. I'm really excited to see what the Eagles can do. I know I'm biased, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Chiefs don't win 3 in a row, but week 1 of football is very exciting.
Absolutely.
Well,
Agreed.
tonight is game night, so
It is game night. Your game night.
talking about games.
We are.
No, it's our games.
Ah.
The games that we like.
Ah.
You talked about yours. Paul's talking about his. Well, maybe just playing his. I don't know. I don't see his hands.
The Aurora.
What's got me geeked? I had an awesome weekend. I rode up to Maine with some friends and we camped the whole weekend, got soaking wet because it rained, and went to a motorcycle rally, and it was a great time. Ended up going to a couple of breweries in Maine, Maine Brewing Company and Alagash. Both had excellent food. Both had excellent beer. At Alagash, they had this food truck. I guess, according to the woman that was standing behind me, and we waited in line for quite a while, so we had struck up quite the conversation. According to the woman behind me, this food truck is like one of 2 in the state of Maine, known for their lobster rolls. Up to that point, I had never, Kathy and I, neither one of us, had ever had a lobster roll that was worth a shit.
Mm.
At this food truck, because she spoke so highly of it, and because she said they went here specifically to get to that food truck, I said, well, I'm going to have to try it. So 3 of us got the lobster roll flights, which was 3 different kinds of lobster rolls. And 2 of them, like one of them was a Connecticut type, which is just the meat and butter on a roll. And the other two, one had mayo in it, some kind of mayo in it, and that one didn't get butter. And then another one, I forget what it had in it. They called it a picnic. Maybe it had some vegetables or something in it. So the two without the mayo got butter, and the one with mayo, it had mayo in it, but it had like some chives or something on there. They were really good. They were really, 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 really good. I have to say though, I could make lobster rolls better two ways. One, toast the bun, at least a little bit, toast a little bit.
hmm
And then use warm lobster, not cold.
That would make sense too.
I just think that would just have made it better because I was surprised that when I bit into it that the lobster was cold. I think up to this point, every lobster roll I'd had, the lobster was warm, I think.
I bet it's because of the limitations of a food truck.
Could be.
You'd end up with having to hold it at temp. You'd have it dried out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to cook it right to order like you could in a restaurant.
Probably. You're probably right. I mean, it was good though. It was good. And I enjoyed it. And I ate too much, of course, because that's what I do. And everybody else enjoyed theirs. Five of us. So five of us there. The food truck, take a wild guess. Three of us had the flights. One guy had a lobster BLT. Another guy had some kind of chicken panini thing with some potato salad on the side. Five of us. Take a wild guess what the freaking bill was.
$137.
Are we throwing the tip in there?
No.
I'm going to
before
say
tip.
at least $200.
Wow. With tip, $199. Was
Okay, I was gonna say
$166 before the tip.
Yeah, damn.
Up there too. That's usually
$37
seafoods in a row.
$37 was the cost of the flight.
That's
of-
insane.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Was it worth it though? I guess
Seafood is not
Yeah.
cheaper in
Yeah.
Maine.
No.
They
It used to
charge
be.
more for it because all of us
Because-
go there thinking it's cheaper.
Right. You go there because that's what you get. Depending on now, I have been different places where you could get like a whole lobster or clams or something like that. You could get them for a pretty good price. But chances are you're not getting, the best pick of the litter, I guess.
And this is before all your drinks too.
Well, I mean, and we were on motorcycles, so I want to throw this out there. I had a beer, and then I had some lemonade. But the whole idea was just to go to see these places. I really like good,
Excuse me.
good craft beers and Alagash. I don't know if I'd call it a craft beer place. It's kind of big now. But Maine beer companies get bigger and bigger. But they're not very long ago. They didn't export any beer from Maine, so they're not that big. They haven't been that big very long. But you can get a lot of their beers in Wegmans, which is pretty cool. But that was just two of the things we did, and we had a great time. Saw some old friends, people I haven't seen in a long time. So that's got me geeked. I'm still pretty psyched about that. Even though it rained the last night, and we didn't get wet when we were inside the tent, but packing everything up, everything was soaked, which is always fun. But yeah, that's a good time.
I'm gonna jump in now, because it reminded me of something. I also got to visit a brewery, but this one's local. I finally got to check out Van Hassler Brewing right on Route 57, where the old Arby's was, and then it was the Peruvian place for about 3 seconds. And it actually was really good. It's a really good atmosphere. They had live music.
Where?
It's right on 57, near.
where 57 and Sewell Road come together.
That's a good one.
There's a
Basically,
little,
next
there's a
door to
little
Pep
plaza where
Boys.
Taco Bell is.
Yes.
It's in there.
It's right in there.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Cool little place. They have good food. They have a limited pub menu: burgers, fries, tots, really good tots.
That's
They
always
bring
important.
you a cheese sauce. It took them a little while to get the burgers to us, so they were very apologetic, and I got a Van Hassler beer token, which I was going to keep just because it was cool to have like a little token, like a challenge coin, basically, of theirs. But of course, I cashed it in for a beer. Good beer. They have all their own brews, plus they have some other stuff that they stock. We had a good time. We had a lot of fun with it. It was one of those spontaneous. It was, hey, come out and hang out with us for a little bit. So Chris and I went and met up with a friend of hers and her husband. ended up ended up getting into a wrestling discussion with one of the other people in the group because they noticed my CM Punk hat, and it was all downhill from there. Well, at least the girls thought it was downhill. We were having a blast.
I see how it is. I invite you to come out, you never come. You go out with other people. Let's see.
It's funny how it worked. I was in Clay, and I get the text, "Stop on the way home." Okay, so
You got to remember, though, that was Kristen's friend, not Paul's. He didn't have a choice.
this is also true.
Are we gonna guess your bill then now too?
My bill? Do you want to guess what my bill was?
$75
$7.48.
for a craft beer place and a burger.
It's because her friend's husband had a tab rolling. He was like, "I got this." So
Okay.
All right. If you want to go someplace and get some good flights, I recommend. Now it's a bit of a drive. I went out a couple weekends ago with some buddies from work. Actually, everybody in the IT department went out. We went to a couple different places out in the Finger Lakes area. My suggestion is check out Warhorse.
Mhm.
We went Warhorse, went Prison City Pub in
Mhm.
Auburn,
Yep.
which is a good place. We did Gritz's.
what?
Oh, Kritz's
No,
Crit.
Oh,
Grits with a G.
really?
Where's
I
that?
don't know what that is.
It's on the other side of I want to say Seneca Lake.
Oh,
They got good beer, really good food. That's where we ended up. That's the last place we ended up. We got food there. We ended up at Finger Lakes. I want to say winery. We went there. They have that's where I asked you about that one whiskey. Remember, I texted you and asked you if you thought this was a good whiskey a couple weeks ago. That's where I saw it. They make their own whiskey there. So I went there. We went there. I had an old fashioned while I was there. I never had one before.
so I'm finishing up right here. I got some more downstairs.
So yeah. So though, but Warhorse, Kevin, it sounds like you've actually been there before.
Yeah.
They've got good flights. Prison City's got good flights too. Prison City's got a lot of IPA flights.
So Prison City is still very small.
Yep.
They're based out of Auburn, and they were actually at the fair. They
They
do a lot of
actually have two places in Auburn now.
right. They've got the original, and then
Yep.
they've got the new whatever they call it,
Yep.
the event center or whatever they've got now.
Yep.
You got to catch them at different times. You got to watch their menus because they still make small batch.
Yeah.
They come up with some very interesting beers. So, and it's not that far away.
Yep.
So if you watch what they're making, you can catch some pretty interesting stuff. You don't have to always just, I just got IPA every time I go there, because they're
Right.
always going to have IPA. Because every freaking moron with a beard and a tight skinny jeans wants fucking IPAs.
I agree. So we went to Warhorse. I got a drink there that when I first tasted it, I was like, "Ooh, this could be bad." It's called the Apple Palooza Slushy.
I
Yeah,
haven't had that one.
yeah, that one's good. They had a couple really good ones at Warhorse. So, and they got food there. They got good food there too. We actually got one of their. They actually call it the big ass pretzel. It's literally a pretzel. It's probably about that big around, and probably about that thick. It's huge, and there was 5 of us drinking and eating it. So
Yep.
Nice.
yeah.
So everybody has seen Warhorse products in the store if you've been to any grocery store in Syracuse. They make Bombshell ciders.
Okay.
And Bombshell ciders are everywhere now.
Yep.
And they also make Lieutenant Dan, but they've also got another one. I'm looking for the beer they make. There's a
And they
couple-
also and Kevin, you can keep looking, but they also do a because one of the guys there was the DD. He wasn't drinking. They'll do a soda flake. They make their own soda.
Oh,
That's cool.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's really
So
cool.
you can bring your kids along if you want to go and have. And you're talking flakes. They're like Dixie cups, the old school Dixie cups you have in your bathroom where you take the shot of
medicine.
you take your mouthwash, and that's about the size of the cups. They're not very big, but they'll do a soda flake for you.
Yeah.
So
one of the other beers that they have that a lot of folks like, well, some folks like, is Breakfast with Churchill. It's an oatmeal coffee stout. It won them a lot of awards.
It did. Actually, one of the guys that was the guy that brought us there, because he lives in Auburn. He knew about these places. He said to try that one. So we actually got a couple of, between the four of us that were drinking, we got a couple of different ones, and we kind of all just kind of shared them and tried them all. But the Breakfast with Churchill was pretty good.
Nice. It's nice that we have really, 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 really good options that are pretty local.
Yeah.
You know, New York State. I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here. Sorry, Carby, if I'm stepping on you.
No, that's fine. Go for it.
I told a couple of friends of mine that are also in IT. They're in the Midwest. I talk to them every once in a while. I tell them about all the different things we have here in the Northeast. And yes, it's expensive to live in New York. And yes, it's a Democratic state. And yes, every news service we have is Democratic leaning. And yes, if you don't do the same thing, you got to deal with that. But what we get here is a phenomenal array of food and drink that you can't get very many other places around the United States. If you think about it, the fruits, the vegetables, the fresh fruits, the fresh vegetables, the wine, the beer, the spirits, there is nothing else. There's nowhere else you can go to get the quantity and the variety that comes from New York State. It is absolutely amazing. If you do it right, you could fill your pantry with everything you would ever need, solely produced in New York State. Not to mention the dairy products. Second to none. Honestly, second to none. You just look around, you can find some phenomenal options. Just you look anywhere else in the United States and look and see. Do they have apples? Do they have peaches? What do they have? So Florida, they've got a lot of stuff, right? They've got a lot of different kinds of fruits, some vegetables, but they don't have the variety. They don't have the breadth of options that we have here. Anyplace else, same thing. It's phenomenal. What we get here and what we can get here is second to none. That's all. Who's next?
DC.
What's got me geeked? Not much. I talked about it last week, whatever like that, playing college football. But college football started and no sports or whatever like that, but I don't give a fuck. So college football started this weekend. I spent all day Saturday, literally all day Saturday watching college football. Some great games, some not so great games. I did watch Georgia versus Clemson. It turned out to be not such a great game for Clemson. Georgia's the best team in the country. I watched SU, flipping between that and Miami and Florida. Florida sucks. Miami destroyed them. And then I spent the evening watching Notre Dame and Texas A&M, and then watched Florida State lose to Boston College, and then watched Florida State lose the other night as well. So it was very fun. So football is here. I'm just waiting on hockey to start. Unfortunately, the hockey world lost an incredible player and his brother over the weekend, or last week actually. Johnny Gaudreau and his brother were killed. They were killed in a car accident, riding their bicycles the evening before their sister was to be married.
What a horrible story.
Yeah.
It was awful. They were supposed to be in the wedding too.
Yep. Yes.
Oh
They were
my
supposed to be in the
God.
wedding, and they were killed by come to find out, killed by a general in the United States Army
Oh my.
who had 5 or 6 beers, and the car in front of him moved to the left, and the guy thought he was being blocked from going around, so he went around on the right, crossed the solid white line, and killed Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew.
It's so bad. Like, it's fun. Sorry, DC, just to talk about what you're saying. My second cousin, so it's my cousin's son. He's in the NHL. He plays for the Minnesota Wild, and he actually went to his camp, and he said he was the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
So it's just so sad.
Yeah, Johnny Hockey. I mean, I watched him, USA teams, and when he played for Calgary and things like that. And that's what I woke up to last week one morning. I just, my ESPN thing went off like 5 times on my phone, and that was the first story that was there. And then I watched some people talk about it and read some stories and things like that. My dad and I were talking when I had to go to the doctor today, and that's how I found out about him being a general, and said, I'd had 5 or 6 beers, and he had an open container in the car.
Even better.
And so nothing really has me geeked except for getting ready for hockey season. We're talking about games later, and I'll talk about the game that I'm finally playing, and how dangerous it is for me. So,
well, on a lighter note, DC, you said Georgia Tech is the best.
No, Georgia, not Georgia.
Georgia's the best. All right, if they're the best, you think they could lend some of their defense to their high schools?
I would hope so.
Okay, that's not okay.
That's not.
No.
But
Too soon.
Ooh.
Too soon.
Well, probably not by the time this comes out. But
Again, that's what I was thinking.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you all the editing software.
That was more a commentary on how we focus so much on football and not on getting the whole shooter thing in
Under control.
place. But it doesn't really work so well outside of the news segment. See?
No, I mean,
Well,
it doesn't. But it's I'm with other people on that. I mean, I'm not a political. I mean, I went to school for political science when I started at college, and that was. We're not going to get into that, how long ago that was. But I can't understand, like you just said, how we can't get that under control. Like my aunt just texted earlier, and I reached back out to her because, I mean, she's in Virginia, and a couple of years ago, I think, Sean, right? A couple of years ago, she was involved in a school shooting.
It wasn't at her school. It was in the town where she teaches.
Yeah.
She's a principal at the school.
Right. So it was just, and then she texted again today about, when are we going to get this, same thing. And I concur, like Steve Kerr for the Golden State Warriors. He's the head coach. He was the Olympic head coach this year, saying the same thing, going, why when I sit down at a press conference every few months, am I talking about the same shit with this going on all the time? Like, what's the deal? I mean, you have to think about it. I mean, really sit down and think about it. When we were younger, that this, with the exception of when Columbine happened, this never was an issue.
No, because
it might have happened, but we never.
It wasn't an issue. It didn't happen because parents used to beat common sense into their fucking kids.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Everybody is too sheltered and things like that. Do you want to know, like, why kids? Some of the same things. Their parents don't let the kids go outside, because I remember when I was growing up, when the woods wasn't a dangerous place.
Well, hold on a second. I got 2 things to say. Number one, when my grandmother was a young girl, you didn't go to Oswego, New York, because there were Italians there that were taking girls off of the road, and they were disappearing, and nobody ever did anything about it because the entire town was owned by Italians. You never heard about it, but it happened.
Right.
Okay. So when you were a kid, things were a little bit different. Longer than that ago, things were a lot different.
Oh, yeah.
Number two, what I have to say is this Georgia event, Washington Post just posted about 20 minutes ago an article. The FBI knew about that fucker a year ago. The fucking system fucking failed.
Dude, we can get into it. I just watched some shit on Paramount Plus about inside workings of the CIA for 9/11, and they had 12 directors of the CIA on to tell us why the fuck everything was fucked up and what they knew and what we didn't know and how they could have prevented it. And I'm not getting into that bullshit. It's just too much. But you're right.
There's too much.
They know about this shit beforehand.
Soft glove bull fucking shit.
Yeah.
Somebody's a fucking problem. You take them out behind the fucking shed and you beat the fucking problem out of them. It worked for years.
Yeah.
It worked. It works.
Yeah. I remember what it was like to be afraid of your parents.
Mm-hmm.
To be afraid to fuck up. Now, Sean and I grew up a little bit differently because our dad was a cop. So, but
he could do no wrong. If he kicked your fucking ass, guess what? You're getting your fucking ass kicked.
Right. But I'll be 100% honest with you. Growing up, I wasn't really afraid of my dad. It was my mom that I was afraid of. because
And then I hear mom
listen,
cackling in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Cackling in the background.
Woo!
I will say this. Nobody knows this story really except for Sean. So I'll put it out there, and I don't care. One morning, I'm getting ready to go to school. I am a senior. I am captain of the football team. I'm jacked. I am getting my coat out of the closet in the hallway. My mother is coming out of the bathroom without her glasses on. I said, "Mom," really, really loud, and she tattooed me on the chin. She knocked me out for 10 seconds, dude. I had a game that night.
Oh, that's what happened to you.
I got she
What happened to
listen, that's the God's honest truth, but that wasn't the last time that happened on that day. I did it later on when I got home from the game. Same thing, same result.
Sounds to me like you deserved it.
I was more afraid of my mom than my dad. I still am more afraid of my mom than my dad. My dad took down criminals. My mom took down me.
Knocked out by Ma.
So same thing.
Mama said knock you out.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
mama
That's
said
it.
knock you out. Don't call it a comeback. It wasn't a comeback. I didn't come back. I was wobbly when I left to go to school that day. I'll tell you that much.
Well,
That's funny.
You're right. It has to deal with certain things, like, I'll go into it. When you got punished, I didn't have a countdown, mom or dad. If my mom or dad made it to 1, it was already too fucking late.
One was them picking you up off the ground.
I had a beat down mom and dad. That's what doesn't happen now. There's no timeouts when we were kids. You didn't get a timeout. Oh, what's a timeout? Oh, you get to go play your Xbox in your room. No.
No,
I
my
didn't
mother
get a
had
timeout. My timeout was getting knocked out before class.
my mother had horses. She had a riding crop.
Oh,
I hated that fucking thing.
Yep. I mean, I could get out of getting in trouble. I always knew how to do it, and I actually perfected it for not getting in trouble. Like when I got grounded, I knew what to do in order to get me ungrounded within 10 seconds, and it worked. And I never told my mother until 3 years ago at Christmas how I did it.
Well, it's funny
And
you
now
say
you're grounded.
Yeah.
Yep. And now I'm grounded. Well,
Mhm.
I don't have a leg.
That's right.
No, you
see what
don't.
happens? You see
Now
what
the truth
happens?
comes out. Yes.
You got
Right.
yours.
Well, DC, it's funny you say that too, because growing up, like when I would always want to go out and play with my friends, they would always call the house phone and say, "Can he come out and play?" But my dad and I, we like football. My mom loves football. But I remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old, like one of my friends would call the house and you hear fucking pussy, get on the field, pick up your helmet and put it on and get on the fucking field. And my friends were like, "Oh, you're watching football with your dad. It's okay." And like, no, I'll come out and play. That's my mom talking right now. So
Wow. Yeah.
oh yeah. So fucking pussy. I learned that at a very young age. Man, I was like, you know what that means? But if I ever hear you say that, I will knock your teeth down your fucking throat. Now go out and play.
Go out and play. Have fun, dear.
Get the
Bye.
fuck out of here.
So that has me.
Wow, what's got me geeked out? You took a fucking left turn.
Yeah.
A violent left turn.
A violent one. Yes.
I mean, and I still
Sorry
haven't
about that.
talk yet. So I got two things. I'm excited about our new format here. If well, they won't have noticed yet because it's just starting, but we're paring down. Don't fucking rush me. I see what you're doing over there.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
You're very
I
happy.
may have taken some advice and pared down the show. We're gonna try and keep this a shorter show unless we get into political topics that turn our first segment into a fucking hour-long thing. But we're
No more.
not everything is gonna be on every show at this point. You're gonna have to tune in every week to get your fix for all the segments you know, love, or just tolerate. Or do your laundry during, whatever. But I'm gonna try and theme the weekly episodes. And if I feel froggy afterwards, I may collect all of them and do a Geek Pod Raw, and where everything's in one long episode for people if they want to watch it all together. But as over and above that, what's really got me excited is the fact that I have my own wheels again.
Woo!
Whoa, what happened?
Right.
Seriously.
All right, give us that.
made a little bit of a purchase over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Got myself a 2021 Ford Bronco Sport.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
What color?
blue.
I'm about to say, don't let it be white.
No, that's no. I was adamant that I was not bringing another white vehicle into my driveway because when I got the white Patriot, the first thing Kristen did was go out and get her new vehicle in white. So we were that family that all had white cars. My mom's car is white. It's nope. It was going to be anything but. The first one
The
I looked at
black
was
families in the neighborhood warned their kids about your house at that point.
what's funny is the black family in our neighborhood have white vehicles.
Oh no.
But
nice.
yeah, I'm pretty psyched with it. I'm really happy with it. Kristen's pissed because the kids keep telling her that I have the coolest car in the house now. They just they
Technically
love
do.
it. Yeah. So it's good times. It doesn't do this when I drive it, which is good.
And actually, when you push the gas pedal, actually goes really fast.
It goes. It doesn't go at a top speed of 12 miles an hour. No.
Good.
So
All
yeah.
right. Main question though, what'd you get for your car to trade in?
Oh,
The
good
one that's in
question.
my driveway that
No.
wasn't wanted for trade-in. He said no, thank you.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
sell it for scrap?
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
But the person that sold it to me, y'all, except Dan might know him. It's Dakota. I played football with him.
Really?
He was
Oh, okay.
there
Okay.
judging all
Connections.
of us at WrestleMania last year. Yes.
So
Yeah.
Dakota, the guy whose wife we like,
Yes. The one that just completely trashes him and
I
bullies
miss
him. Yes.
her. I so
Yes.
miss her.
He cut me a good deal. He's the sales manager over at Crest Acura, which is where I got it. Hooked me up. I can't say much more than that. I'm not going to talk financials, obviously, but
I was about to say, is your payment okay, at least?
payment paid for it outright.
Oh, you don't have any car payments a month?
No,
Oh,
that's what
nice.
Mike One money gets you. That's
Okay.
Mike One. And it actually worked. It showed off. Cool. No, we got it. No, it's all taken care of. Along with our new pool liner that I have to deal with.
Damn.
Pretty sure Kevin broke my liner at the last party.
What's her name? Never mind.
The
Yeah,
liner?
let's not do that on the show. He's going back around to. I know where he's going. But that's what's got me excited. The new show format. We're gonna see how this works out. Hopefully, the few listeners we have like it. If not, hey, too bad. Kevin will be happy, right? Right.
Well,
We already
depends
piss
on-
off some of our listeners because we refuse to talk about football. So
Don't care.
if we actually make the fucking show shorter.
if it gets there, that's what we're trying for. And in that, I mean, everyone else has hit it, right? So let's keep it moving along. You already weighed in on this, but guys, what are we playing right now?
All
Nothing.
right. I'm gonna throw this in there just because I've been talking about it. Still playing Fallout, but I bought the Far Harbor and Nukaworld DLC. There was a great sale on Steam. I think I got both of them for like $4, something
Nice.
like that. It was unreal. There was discounts, and then it was on sale, and I don't even know what the hell happened. It was some kind of special weekend thing or week long thing, whatever it was. So I've been playing through all that, and I'm kind of at a crossroads in a couple different parts of it. The main storyline and the Nukaworld storyline, and I've got to piss somebody off and lose some friends somehow, and I don't know how to deal with it. So I've got to figure that out. But oh my God, I'm like level 97 or 98, something like that right now. It's ridiculous. I've completely abandoned my power armor, and I just walk around in my silver shroud, whatever the thing was. Silver shroud outfit with some sunglasses and whatever my latest legendary find for firearm is. I don't even really use companions. I get a companion. It takes me a couple days, and I max them out, and I send them home, and I'm pretty much walking around by myself. It's a lot of fun. I know the game is 10 years old or whatever. I don't care. It's fucking fun. It's a really good time, and it never ends. There's always more to do, and I'm liking it.
Good. Very good. My game that I'm got is not 10 years old. It's about maybe 10 days old.
Wow,
If
you
that.
bought another game you're not gonna play.
Oh dear.
I jumped in on Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh,
that's awesome.
And surprise, surprise, I haven't played it yet. Got it all taken care of. But the what I wanted to touch on is if you guys are playing it out there, there are some free DLC content you can get right now. You can go out if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you can log into it and it will get you a skin for your animal companion. It's basically a tail wrap. It's kind of nothing, but it's just a cool perk if you got Disney Plus, which I think most everybody does at this point.
Neat.
And if you happen to catch the commercial on TV and scan the QR code, it gets you a forest adventure something or other skin for your ship.
Oh, wow.
Nothing game breaking, nothing that's going to give you an advantage, just kind of little cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to diving into that hopefully this weekend when life slows down now. That would be pretty cool. So that's what I got for video gaming.
Nice.
That's cool.
Anyone else playing anything?
Yeah. I told you
Oh.
I've been playing college football, like maxing that out, but I finally got a game that I wanted for a while, and I can't stop playing is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes,
I am
right?
into that game so much that, let's just put it out there, I haven't slept yet. So I was falling asleep earlier, but I had to go to the doctor's. I will say, okay, I did sleep for like 2 hours, but I fell asleep with the controller in my hand, playing that game. And
Please tell me you were running and you ran out off the freaking map.
no, I was in the middle of combat when I fell asleep.
Oh, that's outstanding.
With an owl bear.
So
I know
combat
exactly
seems
where
to-
you are in the game.
Yeah, I knew you would, Paul. That's why I said it. Yeah, I fell asleep battling an owl bear. I died for the third time, and my head started bobbing. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to close my eyes here for a second, refocus. And next thing you know, I woke up, and my mom's like, "Do you want a sandwich?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yes.
So,
Yes, I do.
yeah. So I've been playing that, and when we get off this tonight,
going back
grab
to it.
something to eat. Oh fuck yeah, I'm going back to it. So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. I made my character. I made let me see, my character's name is Jaldalev. Shocking, but he's not a ranger.
I'd like a sandwich.
He is a paladin. So a paladin, Oath of the Vengeance paladin,
I think that's what I went with.
with a +1 warhammer, and I still can't figure out how to beat this owlbear. So with my other companions, because they die really quickly. So I'm still in the nuances of trying to figure it out, but walking around, looting things, digging up treasure, because that's one of the tips that I saw before I started playing it was always have a shovel, never get rid of it. And
Yes.
I was like, why? And they tell you why. So the first time I ran across the mound of dirt that looked fresh, I opened it up and I got some cool shit in the treasure chest that I opened. So
Nice.
yes, graphics are cool. Storyline, when the beginning happened and I saw, the 3 dragons or anything like this, literally big ass smile on my face. And every time I get to roll and rolls the dice for you, I have advantage on everything already.
Yep.
And I'm only level 2. Yeah, so I'm like literally just into the game. I cannot wait to keep going. Baldur's Gate 3. And obviously it's Dungeons and Dragons, so there you go.
We're at September 4th, 2024. You'll be in the same outfit September 4th, 2054. And then you'll be like, when's the next podcast? Your beard will be long. You'll be not showering. I'm like, wait, do we have a podcast? And I'm like, oh, we stopped podcasting like 20 years ago, bro. And
Right,
Corbs
everybody else is dead.
Right.
Corbs will be like, I'm trying to get rid of this apartment. You come with the apartment with the next people. So you just keep going and going and going.
And I'll be like, Corbs, grab your walker, go over to DC's computer and change his fucking background.
Is Baldur's Gate 3, is that the most recent? Is that the most?
That's the one that I was playing over the winter.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the latest one. I got it for free. So
You
How'd you do that?
because Bryce has it on his Xbox, so I just downloaded it from him to me.
Nice.
Nice.
As long as like you can game share, like when I got college football, I did the same thing with my son. He wanted college football, but since my dad bought it for me for my birthday, because I couldn't wait for it to come out and buy it on my own, and I wasn't doing that. So he got it for me. So then what you do is for Xbox anyway, I log in, he logs into my account, makes my account his home account, and then he downloads the game. So that's what I did yesterday. Yesterday, the day before with Bryce was made his Xbox my home Xbox, and then I could download Baldur's
His
Gate.
library,
It took an hour and a half to download, but then after an
Wow.
hour and a half, I only played the game the first night for like 10 minutes because I knew after character creation that I could be up until we did this today. Because I did it on I did it on Monday.
Monday night.
So but yeah, I'm playing that. And
All right. The only thing I'll tell you, DC,
yeah.
get out of that cave. You don't belong there at level 2.
Yeah, I know. I figured that out. This is the
Go
third
out.
time. So
Yep. Go out, do other stuff, get leveled up. You can come back to it.
yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, because I just did I gotta find the healer to get the thing out of my eye. So the Halcyon, whatever the guy's name is, Halcyon or whatever. I gotta go find him there. He's missing. So that's one of the things that I'm doing now. So
It's going to be a while.
yeah, but I just said, oh, I'm gonna go down this path, and I walked into this path, and I did the animal handling, and it was okay. But then I just moved my character around him a little bit, and then there was a cub, and it says initiative, you're in combat, and I went no, and so I died 3 times now trying to figure it out. So I'm getting out of the cave as soon as I can.
Get out of the cave. Do not kill the cub.
Oh, okay,
That's all I'll tell you. I don't want to ruin anything for you.
all right,
So
perfect.
you have to find a way to get the cub to come back to life after you've already fucking killed it.
Yeah,
Or you scum save and go back.
well, that's what I did. I saved before I went in, so I'm just gonna load it and just turn around.
Scum saving is your friend.
Yes,
Trust me.
yes.
What are you, his 1990 Nintendo Game Pass over there? I like that. You're his Game Genie. Game Genie, that's what I was looking for.
No, it's just I spent a whole lot of time doing this. So that's the other thing, DC. You weren't on the show when I spent months talking about this game?
Yeah.
If you run into shit, let me know. I can help.
All right.
At least up to, Act 2 when I stopped.
Oh, okay. Nope, I'm not gonna stop. So when I get that too, but yeah, no, I couldn't figure it out and everything, and I just sold a whole bunch of shit to the guys in the hollow there, and so I got some cool shit now.
Also, whoever has your highest charisma, have them do the selling. You'll get more gold.
That's me.
Your
How do I
character has
feel?
the highest? Okay.
Or
Yeah,
what's
anyway.
because as a paladin, you have to have at least a 13 charisma, and I think mine is 15. So
There you
I
go.
made it that way. So
Why
that
do
way-
I feel? Yeah, our
I
group
didn't have.
chat's
I
gonna be
didn't want any
fun.
negative. I didn't want any 0 negative modifiers. So I put my intelligence was 8 when I started. So I moved it to 10. Drop charisma a point. So
There you go.
I just feel like our group chat though is gonna be buzzing at like 4 or 3 o'clock in the morning from DC. I'm like, got to level 3.
No.
We're like, great.
No, I will be exiting the group chat at that point.
DC knows to hit me directly. That's all
Yep.
right.
So that's what's
All
got
right.
me.
Outstanding.
Nice.
This isn't something I'm playing, but it's something I'm going to play. I mean, as far as what I'm playing, I did go back. I'm playing through Arkham Knight again. I have to get back in because I said I was going to play through the whole Batman series because I have I got Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League for free on Prime Day because I'm a Prime member. So I want to play that, but I have to get through everything else. But anyway, what I really want to talk about gaming is what I'm looking forward to playing, and this has to goes back to what I said before. We're going to talk about Jack Danger again. So Jack Danger, up and coming pinball designer, makes the Jurassic Park home pin. Eventually, Stern lets him work on some of his own. He's working in a helping other people capacity. Eventually, gets to design his own stuff, and their brand new pinball machine is a Jack Danger designed the Uncanny X-Men, and I posted it in our group chat earlier. Paul, if you want to throw that video up, it's certainly here or just a link or whatever. But here's the thing now. His star has risen so much that throwing his name at the beginning of the pinball table actually means something in the pinball world. And I'll tell you why. You watch this video, and there's a longer 5-minute one where they go into just a little bit of detail about the table itself. He's doing things on this table that have never been done before. Okay. And I can't wait to actually see this in person. There's some cool stuff. There's a Sentinel head that actually has a kick. You knock its mouth down, and then if you get it back in the mouth, it fights back and it kicks back at you. There is a captive ball target that's elevated, which is not something I've ever seen. All sorts of crisscrossing rails and stuff that you just don't see in pinball. And one of the coolest things is they put the danger room in there. And here's the whole thing. The entire field is shifted to the right. The flippers, your main flippers, are not in the center of the table. They're off to the right because there is a third flipper over on the left in a little room, and it's called the danger room. You have to shoot a shot up into the upper left, and if you hit it, it comes down a rail. That rail goes under the flippers and drops the ball off in this little section called the danger room that has multiple targets in it. But you have to, because it's only like this big. That whole area of the field. So you have to be very quick with the flipper to keep it in there to score points and get it out. But the idea is this guy, his mind works differently, and he's kind of shaking up what we think pinball can do. There's stuff on this table. There's more stuff on this table that I'm not even thinking to bring up that has never been done before. Now, will something like this be, something we see in a lot more games? I don't know. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But the first time I'm watching the video and I saw the ball go on a rail under the flippers, I was like, what the fuck? That's where you lose the ball, right? It's some really, really cool shit. So I can't wait to play that. I want to be playing that. I want to be doing that right now, not doing this.
Wow.
What? I mean, it's going to be a commercial release? Like now you're going to have to track it down? Is it?
Yeah, it's out. It's out. The reveal was today. People can pre-order it. It'll probably be on locations within the next few days.
All right.
Wow.
That's what
That actually sounds really cool. I'm not a pinball. I mean, but I would love to do that. I would love
it is really cool. It's based on Days of Future Past is the story.
Okay.
So you have to flip back and forth between the present and the future to try to change the past. And all of the animations, original animation, original music. There's a guy called Zombie Yeti that did all the artwork. Apparently, he's some famous artist that's coming up in the world. But I mean, if you're an X-Men comic book fan, I mean, this game probably is really going to hit home. And Paul, did you actually get a chance to watch that video? If you do, I mean, I think you'll just be just from the comic book connection. This is clearly these people know the comics and they love the comics. And in fact, there is a special edition, the limited edition versions of the machine. Somebody is going to get one that has the plate on it that's machine number 811 after X-Men issue 811. Okay. So they know what they're doing.
Wow,
what
do these run?
The Pro Edition 699.99. 6,900. Let's call it $7,000. The Pro Edition $7,000, the Premium $10,000, and the Limited Edition $13,000. So this is not something I'm ever going to have in my house.
No, that's
and the thing about
cheap car right there.
Pinball tables is those kinds, the Pros, Premiums, and Limited Editions. They don't lose their value. I mean, there are games that are out of that aren't being made. They sell used, maybe $500 off that price. Like Deadpool has been out for ages now. It's one of their most popular tables, and a Pro, brand new, $7,000, used $6,500. It's crazy.
I'd like to try that Godzilla one that you were talking about. If they said it was one of the best, I'd like to see if I could find that.
It's awesome. Godzilla.
Have you played it before?
I have.
You have? Okay.
Yes.
Where?
I played it in Austin, but I've also played it at Skillshot Arcade in
Syracuse.
Yeah, but what side? Where would you say? Where is that? The north side? North?
Probably.
It's not really North Syracuse. It's over by the Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
Okay. North Syracuse, Manadale area ish.
Yeah, but yeah, Godzilla is really good. Like I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to, but I could tell right from the start, me never having played it before and me being early in my pinball journey, immediately I'm having fun with it. There's stuff that immediately made sense. But apparently the code on that thing is ridiculously deep.
Wow.
So, I mean, they're always adding new things. They're releasing a 70th anniversary edition of it now. That basically it's the same game, but it's all in black and white.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be cool. Shit. Holy cow.
Well, I mean, it looks cool to look at and go, hey, that's cool, but I'd rather own the one with color.
Right.
Anyway, that's what I want to be playing.
Oh,
Well,
very
that's
cool.
what makes pinball unique is the flash and the color and the difference. The difference on the board. If black and white. I mean, if you have the color one, I guess I could see the black and white being a special edition or something.
Right.
Yeah, neat.
Forbes, what are you playing?
For me,
Pocket pool. Oh, I'm sorry.
that's all it.
That's daily.
Really just playing baseball. MLB The Show. I made my I always do like a road to the show type of thing. So I made my son. I simulated through like the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons, 5 seasons, something like that. So I've gotten back into playing that a
Is
little
this
bit more.
24 or 25?
24. It's this year's version. So because I'm done watching baseball because the White Sox, they suck.
Yeah, they just lost their 20th in a row again.
Again,
That's
Eek.
3 times this year.
they've won 31 games. 31 games for the entire year. That's like
Not
5
good.
wins. That's like
No, that's
5
pretty
wins
bad.
a month.
Right, and they play every day. It's 5 wins a
Right.
month.
You're usually off maybe 3 or 4 days, so they have double the amount of days they have off during the month for wins in that month. It's ridiculous. They've lost the most games of any team in Major League Baseball history.
Mm.
They're,
Are you gonna have the number one
they're-
prospect? Oh, go ahead.
They're they'll have the number one draft pick. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If Major League Baseball does it right, they'll give them the first 10 picks. They're that bad. Like they traded away just about all of their talent this year. They're rebuilding. It's literally going to take them years to get good.
Mm.
That's how bad it is. And I'm talking about the team that I enjoy watching the most. And you watch the games now just to see how they're going to fucking lose. Like they're winning games, and then next thing you know, they're losing games. It's like watching fucking flies. Fuck, it's the world's most boring shit ever. And I made myself in Major League Baseball. I was on the White Sox for a while, because you can decide who you get drafted by. So I got drafted by the White Sox, but again, they fucking suck. They suck in the game too. So I was on their team for 6 years because you have to wait 6 years before you actually get a contract from a different team. You have to wait till you get to arbitration. So as soon as I got a contract from another team, I left and went to that team. So I just signed with the Cincinnati Reds. So that's about it. I haven't been doing much.
Wow.
How about you, Jack?
Not gaming, but like I said, I always do yard work, but I played this game calling Falling Off the Ladder. So
not gaming. I'm writing notes. Not gaming.
not gaming.
Got it.
I did yard work and I fell off the ladder this weekend. That was fun.
No, it's not.
It was outstanding. Yeah, it was. I just literally fell 6 feet from the ground. Like the ladder was stable, right? I went all the way up. Then I was coming down. I was like, "Oh, this ladder's gonna give out." I'm like, "Fuck!" And then I just cut my wrist pretty good. So I was like, "This is great." Yeah, this was great. So I was like, either I can literally try to catch my fall or try really hurt myself. So I slammed my hands really hard on the ladder and then I cut my wrist pretty good. So yeah, it was a pretty good gash. So I was playing Let's Stop the Bleeding this weekend.
Who rescued you? What was his name?
Myself, and I.
So just puddle on the ground and then finally got up and.
Well, it sucks because my neighbor behind me, he's like Russian. He doesn't even speak any English. He literally looks at me. He's like, "Oh, yo, yo." I'm like, "Oh, whatever." I'm just going inside to bandage this up. I slam the door as hard as I can. I'm like, "Fuck!"
That's
and
not
then
very nice.
No, it's not. But that's what I played.
He came over to help.
No, he didn't. He looked from his
slammed
yard.
your door in his face.
He came over to laugh at him.
Basically, he just looked up from his fence. He's like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Oh, go back to your sunbathing or whatever
If you were
do.
nice to him,
Howdy,
he might
neighbor.
have brought you vodka and cabbage rolls.
Don't get me started on that neighbor. I don't like that neighbor.
Well,
But
now he
go
doesn't
ahead.
like you either.
It's mutual.
Let's keep this moving because this whole keeping it short isn't working.
No.
Nope.
No shit.
So I guess it's time for Kev's tabletop review.
Well, fantastic. I think that's just a wonderful thing. Now, what I have for you guys tonight is it's a very fun game. My wife and I learned it tonight in about 5 minutes. Excuse me. She actually got this game for her birthday from a friend of hers, and we decided to open it up, try it out tonight. It's called Throw Burrito. Now, hold on a second. I'm going to give you a little preview of it before you see the video. What am I looking to do here? All right, hold on a second. Let's see if Paul's going to make me full screen here. Let's see how this goes. All right, so what you're looking at right now is the BoardGameGeek.com detail about what Throw Burrito is. Now, this is, without a doubt, on the low side of what I normally review, with a weight of 1.11 out of 5. It's super, super easy game, but it's a lot of fun. If you get a chance, watch the review video that's going to play right after this. They say 2 to 6 players, about 15 minutes of playtime. Really, a 15-minute game. That's pretty true. Ages 7 and up, I could see that pretty easily. This is from the people that brought you Exploding Kittens, and it's very, very, very obvious when you start playing that it's the same kind of genre. It's a lot of fun. There's some activity involved. Drinking, not drinking, it'd be a fun drinking game. I would suggest to do exactly what they say in the little description here. To clear some space and put away the antiques, because there are things that are going to get thrown around, and it's worthwhile. It's a lot of fun. You're going to hear Kathy actually laugh pretty hard in the video playthrough we did. So throw burrito. It's a card game. It's basically a card game. You're pulling tricks to try to get points, and you're trying not to get hit with a burrito. My suggestion to Jack earlier was, if you want to play this game, try playing it, with your friends with frozen burritos.
There you go.
I mean, if you're going to be drinking, use the frozen burritos. By the time you get done with the game, they're probably, thawed, and you can warm them up and have a little snack. So.
A little snacky snack.
Nice.
Just so you know, Kevin, technology is caught up with frozen burritos, and you can actually warm them up while they're frozen now. You don't have to throw them around the room for an hour first.
Well,
It ruins
I
the
was just
fun.
Yeah, you gotta have
But
fun.
trying
it cuts down on the viruses and
concussions.
floor dirt and concussions and air.
The floor dirt, but that's the fun part, though.
Well, leave the wrapper on. I mean, don't take them out of the wrapper. Leave the wrapper on if you're going to.
Listen, any game that you can play and have a snack at the same time is a game that you want to play.
Right.
Let's just
That's
be real.
Hence, beer
That's
pong.
exactly what I was thinking.
That's
DC though, if you can't snack on them while they're frozen, if you catch one of those in your mouth, you're going to lose some teeth.
Listen, I already lost a lot of teeth. It's okay.
It's not okay. You can't afford to lose anymore.
Well, I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
It's like legs.
Still-
It's like legs here.
Don't lose anymore.
Don't lose
He's
anymore.
taking his legs back. He's taking them back.
That's right.
So yeah. So that's the game of the week, month, whatever. I don't know when we're going to have another one of these shows. We haven't had one in forever. So hopefully the next game will be a little bit more on track in that 2 out of 5 rating. But honestly, this is a fun game. Definitely add it to your stack of games. And if you really wanted to play this with, I think, more than 4 people, buy 2 of them, so you've got extra burritos and a extra large card deck. I think it would work out really well that way. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun game.
Sweet.
All right, without further ado, here's the video.
3, 2, 1. Tonight's game is Throw Burrito, a game by the same people who bring you Exploding Kittens. This is a dodgeball card game, and this is how it's played. The tools of the game are a very large deck of cards. Okay, very large deck of cards, lots of cards. Already shuffled thanks to my beautiful assistant, Kathy. The Fear Me badge, which you win after round one. Whoever wins round one gets the Fear Me badge. 2 plushy, see, squeezy, burritos that you're going to throw at each other. Oh, yes. And 6 of these little guys right here, which are burrito bruises. You earn a burrito bruise when you lose a battle. Okay, so how does the game play? Well, the game is played by dealing out 15 cards to each person. Kathy's going to go ahead and deal out those 15 cards. Now, the 15 cards are a suggestion. It's not even exact. It could be 12 cards, it could be 20 cards, it could be 10 cards. It makes no difference as long as it's more than 5, which is what you're going to have in your hand at the end of this deal. Now, we have to modify the game a little bit because it's 2-player, and you're going to see how that modification works. So we're going to run through this a little bit slow to begin with, but then we're going to speed it up and we're going to play just like you play the game. So what Kathy's doing now is she's separating the two, what's left of the cards into these community piles. And the way we've played it so far, the way we like to play it, is to put the typical setup is the bruises in the center, the burritos outside of the bruises, and then somewhere that everyone can reach them, the community piles. These are community piles. Now, the players take off the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are your playing cards. And what's left is your personal draw pile. Now, here's the difference between a normal game and a game between 2 players. In a normal game, as I look at my cards and I want to discard something I don't want, because I can only keep 5 cards in my hand. I can never have more than 5. If I discard a card, I discard it to the player to my left's personal draw pile, okay? And typically the person to the left can only draw from their personal draw pile. How a 2-player game is different is any player can draw from their personal draw pile or either of the two community piles. Typically, you have to exhaust your personal draw pile before you can draw from a community pile. And once that is exhausted, you can draw from either community pile, and you have to take it from the top. Now, as gameplay happens, your personal piles get really, really messy. And when that happens, you can just take off whatever card you want from whatever in the pile that you want. And you're going to see that. So this is how the game is played. We're going to play 1 card at a time, but know that the way the game is played, you just play. There is no your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. You go just as fast as you can. The object being 3 of a kind in your hand, which I do not have. I've got this little Lucky Chickie, this Logger Dogger. I have a Brawl card. Oh, you're going to see these in a minute. I have Goth Sloth and Floaty Goaty. I want to get 3 of one of these to put them down in front of me to collect points. If I get 3 of these, we get to have a brawl. And you're going to see that. And we're going to play through right now. Let's go ahead and play the game, Kath. And we're gonna play a little quick here. We're gonna try to get it going. Oh, look at that. See, I got 2 of those. All right, I'm gonna discard that. Take off the community pile. Ooh, I got a war card. I'm gonna discard that. Oh, I probably shouldn't tell her what I got because then she won't. Then she, make sure she doesn't. Ooh, look at that one. That's a fun card right there. But I gotta get rid of that one because I need something else. So I don't need that one. No, don't need that one. Oh, still don't need that one.
Okay, so
look at that.
I've got some points here.
So Kathy has 3 of these floaty goaties and 3 jellies, giving her 2 points. That's 1 point for each of these. Now I have this, so I put this down, these 3 cards, and I immediately have to replenish 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So now I have 3 different colors. Now, the thing with these cards here, even though they're the same war type, you have to have 3 of the same color, right? So I can't have 3 different colors and then throw them down and say, oh, we're going to have a war. No, that doesn't work that way. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh.
Duel!
Okay. Gameplay now stops because Kathy has dual cards. Okay, if you can't see these, let's just take a look. All 3 of the same color. It says Burrito Duel. Now, the way the Burrito Duel works, and I'm hoping that I'm going to catch this on the camera. I'm going to tip the camera up just a little bit because I want you to see this. All right, let's just see how that works. That should work, all right? So we're going to take, each one of us is going to take a burrito, all right? And we're going to stand over here with our backs to each other, and we're going to walk 3 paces, turn, and throw the burrito at each other.
You have to support it behind your back, though.
Now we're gonna add in a little bit of a twist behind the back just to make it a little bit more interesting, because that's how we have to do the normal battles in a 2-player game. So here we go. Burrito in the right hand. 3, 2, 1. Change it around the back. Oh, and she got me. You didn't see it. You didn't see it. I tried to dodge, and she got me right in the big old fat gut right there. All right. So that gives me a burrito bruise. Now this is -1 point. Okay. So now I have my burrito bruise here next to my lager dogger, my little 1 point that I have. And that's a -1, that's a +1.
Okay.
Gameplay will continue now by
3, 2, 1, burrito!
and we presume picking our cards up and getting back in the game. Oh, look at that. There's one there. 2, 3. Oh, don't need that one. Not too bad, not too bad. Getting some points there, everybody. Oh, don't need that one. Don't need that one, don't need that one. Oh, she didn't catch that. I had 6 cards in my hand there for a second, but she didn't catch that. I corrected it, though. Nope, don't need that one. So this is what I mean about the game getting fast. You gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. Oh, there's another point for Kevin. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 off the... Oh! Now, what typically happens now is as soon as somebody gets one of these war types, which is either war or brawl, then we immediately go into this war. Now, in a 2-player game, all that means is we grab the burritos, we swing them behind our backs, and we throw them at each other. A typical brawl happens if I throw down brawl, the person to my right and left have to go against each other. Okay, so brawl, when you play 3 matching brawl cards, the players to your right and your left are immediately in a brawl. They grab the burritos and they throw them at each other. The first person that gets hit loses, and they get a burrito bruise. The difference between that and a war is that all players at the table, except for me, except for the person that put down the war, are immediately in a war. So everybody that can grabs a burrito and they throw it at each other. Now this is a game that only comes with 2 burritos. So if you really want to play with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 players, you might want to pick up a second game so you've got enough burritos for everybody to grab one. So in a war type situation, we're going to back it up a little bit. Kathy's going to put the cards back in her hand. I'm going to put mine in my hand. I'm going to show you exactly how this would work. I have my cards in my hand. She has hers in her hand. She gets 3 cards and she goes, oh! Oh!
You got me, I think. You got my arm.
I think I did get her. So it's quick, right? It's fast. It's fun. And then Kathy gets a bruise.
Yep, I took one.
Oh, she got her bruise. Okay. I'm not going to run you through the entire game. I think you pretty well get how it goes. Here's where the Fear Me badge comes in. Let's say Kathy wins the first round. She wins the first round. She gets a Fear Me badge. How does the first round end, you ask? I didn't tell you that. When all of the bruises have been handed out, the round is over. Okay? So then you count up all your points. There's 1 point, that's 2 points, that's 3 points. I have -3 points, so I have a 0. Kathy has 2, 4, 6, 8, but she's got 3 negatives. So she actually has 2, 4, she has 5, so she would win. She gets the Fear Me badge. Now we play round 2. In a 2-player game, if I win the second round, we solve the final winner by having a duel. In a game of 3 players or more, if Kathy wins the second time, she automatically wins. If anyone else gets the Fear Me badge, they duel. Those 2 people duel. And that is throw, burrito.
Fun.
Wow, did we have a lot of fun learning this game. I think you would have fun learning the game also. Thanks for playing.
All right. And then we're going to kick it to break. And when we come back, we'll wrap this thing up. Stick with us, guys. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a keyback issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Talking to the stranger with the skeleton flute was his first mistake. Playing it was his second. Be careful what you wish for never meant anything to 12-year-old Sam until the night he blows into the skeleton flute and wishes for his parents to stay together. The stranger promised Sam his greatest desire, but the morning after the low, warbling note came out of the glowing flute, Sam's life has been turned upside down. His brother and sister don't exist, and his best friend doesn't know him. His parents are together and happy, but is it worth sacrificing everyone else he loves? Caught in a web of unintended consequences, Sam must try to get his old life back, despite the challenges that wait for him if he succeeds. And that means uncovering the mystery behind the strange man's identity and the skeleton flute. The Skeleton Flute hits shelves on August 27th. You can pre-order your copy now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local indie, and most major book retailers.
Okay, so all right, welcome back to trivia time. So we're gonna do it a little different this time around. I usually let them pick a number, but I'm gonna pick your number. So I keep having this trivia go weeks and weeks on. So I thought we were gonna do this topic, but we're gonna do Olympics. So let's do the Olympics.
What
All
does
right,
that have to do with gaming?
it has nothing
The
to do with
Olympics are
gaming.
games.
They kind of are. Okay, good. Yes, they are
Oh,
games.
Way to,
All
way to-
right,
way to bring it
all
around, Paul.
right.
That's
All right,
what
perfect.
I'm this year.
Thank you. All right, Paul, your number is number 1.
You're a
Nope.
dick.
Yep. Where was the first Olympics held in 776 BC? The first ever Olympics.
Rome.
No.
No, Athens. I'm sorry.
Give me the country, but yeah. You
Greece.
have Greece.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. Kev, number 2.
I think if he had the city right, it's even better.
It is,
Maybe I
but
meant Georgia.
he could have been.
Oh yeah, or maybe Ohio. There's an Athens, Ohio. Anyway,
There
go ahead.
is. All right. In what year were women allowed to compete in the Olympics?
Oh wow, I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. It was before they could vote. If you know when they could vote, it's around that time.
It was too soon.
Good day, sir. That joke never gets old.
So we're in the 1900s. Really? They didn't have women competing?
He said it was before they could vote. There's a lot more years than the 1900s before they could
Oh,
vote.
but he's saying that, and it makes me think that he's pretty close.
That's what I was
You know what I
thinking
mean?
too.
Just because he gave that as a clue, so it makes me think it's pretty close.
Because I need the exact year. That's why I gave you the clue. So
I honestly don't know. 55. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Gut instinct, go with it because you're probably close.
57. What year did the women get the vote? They got voted what?
1920.
Oh.
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 So I'll say 1910. I don't know.
I always love when you guess these, Kev, because you always have it right when you're guessing. You're like around the 1900s. It was actually 1900.
Well, I mean, I had to remember, which I did poorly, when the women got the right to vote, which I obviously just was way off base.
It's all good.
Just didn't even freaking remember anything about that.
Mhm.
I knew that they did. Give me credit there.
Not really, but keep going.
Anyway,
I would have
okay.
loved to have been your teacher in school. This would
No, you wouldn't. No,
you were like, I can't do this. I'm like, just sit down. All right.
No.
Hugh. Okay, how about who has 28 gold medals as the most decorated U.S. Olympian of all time? If this is the hugest hint, and if you don't know this from the hint, I'm going to be surprised. Swimming.
I know.
Michael Phelps.
Correct.
Swimming.
All right, Corbs.
He really has that many from swimming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the most decorated of all time or both American?
You'd think all those medals would weigh him
Decorated
down in
American
the
of all
pool.
time. Well, he also has bronze medals, silver medals, but a lot of gold medals too. All right, Corbs.
Yeah.
Which Olympic Games were the first games to be televised? Give me the city and year. You have the hardest one of them all, but I think you could do this one because this is a very important Olympics.
No, you're talking televised, like actual on TV.
Yes. It's a controversial one because it was leading up to a big event in U.S. history, in world history, let's call it.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
Yeah. You looked it up, didn't you, Kev?
No, I'm going to, though.
Okay.
I want to say it was the year that the
Think of a world event.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
I was right. I want
to say it was. It's in the 70s when.
Sorry, I shouldn't be shaking my head.
No, Jack shook his head too. So
yeah, no.
Corbs, no, go lower than that. Not the 70s.
Yeah, think about a world.
That's what I'm saying. A world event.
World event.
Look at somebody's facial hair and trim it down. That's all I'm going to be saying.
So is it?
It's a world event, and I'm going to own it all.
Okay, what is
World War II? So
changes everything.
Okay, what city then? Do you know that city?
Was it Berlin?
Berlin is the city, and what is the year before a famous world event in world history?
1932.
Oh,
he's so close.
So close.
36.
Correct. Berlin, 1936.
So
Jesse Owens. He was the one when he.
That's yeah.
He was the one who was beating all of the master race. Remember?
Yep. I was thinking more.
Here again, for the world to see, right out there he was, and they were, but nobody took him seriously. Anyway, go ahead.
I was thinking of the. Is it the Palestinians that killed the?
Yeah, that was in the 70s. Yes,
72.
that's hostages.
72.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was thinking 72.
Yeah.
I originally thought 72 too, but then I remember that they were talking about it with Hitler and Owens, and that's 36.
Correct. All right, DC, you have my favorite one. Basically,
right.
I came up with this one.
Okay.
Oh, DC, you're the favorite. Oh.
In July 1996 in Atlanta, Georgia, This famous U.S. athlete carried the torch by lighting it to start the Summer Games in 1996. Which famous U.S. athlete?
I know who you're talking about.
This one I came up with the top of my head. I was like, this is a good one.
Well, it wasn't Tom Cruise.
He's not an athlete.
He's not an athlete.
Muhammad Ali.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Correct.
Is it really?
All right.
Was it Muhammad
It was
Ali?
Muhammad
Yes,
Ali.
it
It was
was.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
All right.
He didn't
DC
remember it, but
DC, before I turn it over to you, in 1972, a famous show called The Price is Right premiered on CBS, and then the rest is history. So it's in 1998, the American search engine known as Google was established by Sergey Brin and Larry Page.
Oh, 98. Wow.
Wow.
I looked it up, actually. These guys are worth over $130 billion, basically,
Yep.
a piece. Holy fuck.
And they
And
have
then-
almost nothing to do with the company anymore.
Exactly. And then in 2002, a singer named Kelly Clarkson won the first ever American Idol.
Wow.
And also Beyonce's 44 today. Damian Wayans is 65. And then for all you wrestling fans out there, Xavier Woods is 39 years old.
Wait, Damian Wayne is still a kid.
Damon Wayans. Damon
Damon
Wayans.
Wayans.
Damon Wayans. Thank you,
Yep.
Kev. All right. I'm very excited for this one. DC, I'm going to turn it over to you. D&D with DC. Take it away.
God, you still fucked it up.
D&D with DC, I said.
No,
DNDC.
DNDC.
So welcome
Whatever.
to D&DC. This is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and I was discussing with Paul earlier via text, like how I want to do this. We thought about doing the new core books that are coming out, but they're not out yet. And to find the research on that would be very difficult right now, though I do have some videos that I have watched and know a little bit about some of them. So
Wait,
what I thought
hold
I would
on.
do,
What
Hold
books are
on.
coming out?
There wasn't a discussion. I said, "Hey, how about you review the new books?" And you said, "No."
right?
It's a discussion.
I did.
Done.
That's what I said. I said no because there's nothing out. I have seen video,
Sorry,
like
I
I
just
said.
wanted to throw that out there because it was fucking funny. I looked at the
But-
text. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
What are they? What's
So my thing is to kind of start, people who are watching or might want to think about getting into Dungeons and Dragons because this year is it's Dungeons and Dragons has been out for 50 years. So what is Dungeons and Dragons? For most people don't know exactly what Dungeons and Dragons is. And Dungeons and Dragons is a fantasy role-playing game or RPG that players work together to navigate a fictional world. It's all fiction, it's all made up, it's all like kind of medieval times. It's kind of how else do I say it?
Sword and sorcery.
Yeah, sword and sorcery. It's actually based off of other
Game of
different types
Thrones.
tactical role-playing games back in the 70s called Chainmail. Dungeons and Dragons was developed by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson back in 1974. Dungeons and Dragons is a way to basically escape from reality. When you're having a bad day and you're going to be playing your Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, it's a way not to have to think about it. It is very much geek culture now. People, they've tried to deal away with any gatekeepers who've come in. Every person from every walk of life plays. Some of the most popular movies out there, their developers have played Dungeons and Dragons for years. James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy. Actors, Vince Vaughn plays. Joe Manganiello from Magic Mike. Was married to Sofia Vergara from Modern Family. He plays in a weekly or monthly game with people from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, people from Guns N' Roses. He has a one's called Jocks Machina, where he has the players that play are all people who can deadlift over 400 pounds. The Big Show from used to be WWE and now AEW. He plays in that game. So Dungeons and Dragons is just a fun thing where you sit around a table the ideal is anywhere between 4 and 8. You make up your own character with races, classes, you roll dice, You try to
What
figure
kind of
out
races?
puzzles.
We'll go over some of the races.
Some of the races are
Popular.
human, elf, half elf, halfling, gnome, dwarf, tiefling.
That's right, motherfucker.
You know, those are some of the most popular ones. Those are the ones that are in the basic. Half orc is another one. In the 2023 version of the Player's Handbook. Different races have been taken out in the new ones, and new races have been put in the new core books, which hopefully in the coming podcast we'll be able to go over some of the new things that are gone in there. If anybody wants to know or learn how to play D&D, you can. There's a lot of stuff online. I've been playing for 40 years. I figured it out actually earlier. I've been playing for just over 40 years, on and off, for Dungeons and Dragons. It's very popular. It's very much geek. Obviously, they've made several movies, but the one that came out, a couple
2
years
years ago
now, has piqued even more interest for people who don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. Coming up in future podcasts, we can go over some things, some tips, some tricks, some character developments, and maybe even next time I'll have on here, I'll even show some of the dice.
I know some people who could use an instruction on the dice. Yes.
I know that as well. So
I need yard block dice. I still need those.
right. So, but that's my little segment, at least for right now. We'll go, like I said, go over this again at a different time, place, same bad channel, same bad time. For D and DC, this is DC signing off.
Awesome. I'm shocked it was so short. I love it. I love the quick hits on it.
Well, I needed to get my back. I needed to have my background fixed, and I didn't want anybody to say anything about it going too long or too short.
There you go.
Instead of the other thing, so I figured in the very first time we'll just keep it short, sweet, and to the point.
And unfortunately, you're just going to blather on about yourself instead of the actual thing. But that's beside the point. Would you say? I have a question for you. Would you say that D&D is what the player makes it is? It is as deep as they want it. So it doesn't have to be as deep and detailed as it can be. And it's really based on what the dungeon master decides and how the players decide to play it.
Yes and no. So the dungeon master basically, and he's the person who runs the game. Basically, he sets up what the players are going to do, and the players drive everything else after that.
He's the storyteller.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The dungeon master is a storyteller. He tells a story, but the actions, the decisions, the things that go on in the game is all character driven, player driven. It's, I saw something that, was interesting, in the fact that it, like you said, Kev, it is as deep as the players want it to go. If they just want to be what they call murder hobos, where they kill everything, just loot for treasure, you can do that. Or if you want to do the role-playing aspect as well as combat, you can do that as well. I think a better, more well-rounded game does as much role-playing as there is combat.
I grew up playing with guys that did not. They were very shallow.
Yeah,
and so I never really learned the game.
Yeah, I have as well. But I also have been involved with people who are a lot more story driven than combat driven. I myself feel that if you're playing in a game, in a campaign or anything like that, you should have at least one combat scenario in every session, only to keep it interesting. But that being said, doing the role playing thing can also be a hell of a lot of fun if you're playing your character and playing it well, delving down into the depths of your character.
Or if you're just sitting at the table watching other people do it, it's equally as fun.
It is, because it might help you as well. You feed off
getting into the role play aspect, that can be hard though.
It can,
because I mean, even with us, and we've made this obvious before, other than DC, because obviously it's Corpse's brother, but everyone around this table is my friend first and foremost. I've pulled all of you idiots together, and even in my case, I'm still not super comfortable like really diving into the RP. And I mean, Jesus, I've known Hugh for over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's hard to just throw yourself into that. And I mean, we all need to get better at that. Luke said it. Luke is our DM. We've said that before. We need to get him on for one of your segments, DC.
Absolutely.
Um,
I'm with that.
I mean, that's hard, and it's really something that we should be able to just throw ourselves into. But I mean, the same idea. We're a group of dudes, and we don't want to jump into it too much because we all know we're gonna bust each other's balls about it. So
Yeah.
You're gonna get your balls busted either way.
Yeah.
So you might as well fucking do it right.
right.
Yeah, but the thing is with us, because it is the six of us who are playing, with Luke obviously driving the story arc. I think that we work well together.
We're getting better.
We are, and that's the important thing. But the main thing is that, and this is true with just about anything, is we have fun. And that's what it's about. It's about having fun. It's about getting together with friends. We get together once a month, or when our schedules can mesh. We get together, we play for like 4 hours, and then we're done for a month. And then the week leading up to it, we start talking about it again. Some people are really into it, like myself, like really into it, because
Dan's up here.
Yeah,
DC, I'm sorry. Jesus,
I have. I mean, I'm throwing it out there. I really, literally have nothing. So, my kids at school. I'm separated from my wife. I don't even have my dog. I live with my mom, my brother, my nephew, but I isolate myself a lot in my room. Corbs will tell you that. They want me to come out every so often, and I just don't. I isolate myself. So Dungeons and Dragons is something that allows me to heal a little bit. If you want to see something really cool on Dungeons and Dragons, there's a thing on online. It's called Fandom Dungeons and Dragons. It's something, I believe it was done a few years ago, where they talk to people who play Dungeons and Dragons about future previous gatekeepers and how it's helped people through rough times, and how the game has now evolved, especially in the 5th edition system, where it's so much easier to play. You can literally, you don't even have it to have any of the core books. You need a set of dice and an imagination, and you can play. And anybody can play it. And that's what I like about it. You can have people who have never done it, or you can have people who are so into it that they bleed Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm one of the guys that probably bleeds Dungeons and Dragons. I'm looking forward to getting Dungeons and Dragons Legos at Christmas time. So that's how into it I am. They also have a sneaker. They have Dungeons and Dragons sneakers, which doesn't really help me because I can only wear one. So I nixed that in the bud. Shirts, dice. I always go back to dice because you can never have too many dice.
Dice goblins.
Yep. So I actually watch people online and stuff like that. I've seen a bag of dice that's a literal handbag, a coach bag that's like that big and like that wide, and it's filled. They can't close it. That's how many dice are in. It's insane. And people whip their dice around the table when they don't roll right, and they just pull out another one and keep going. So,
I have never thrown my dice across the table.
No, but I appreciate that because I'm across the table from you.
Exactly.
But you have changed
at our
dice.
table. At our table,
I do.
Would you guys
dice
agree that
frequently.
I'm probably the dice goblin right now?
You're close, yeah. Yep.
You don't bring all of yours.
No, I have all of mine, but
goblin what?
I have a Barnes and Noble gift card, and Sean got me something that I wanted for my birthday, so now my gift card goes strictly to dice. Nice. So I'll be spending that sometime soon to have more dice delivered. And you can go to anywhere and get dice. You can actually get, and they're called polyhedral or gaming dice. You can actually get them at the Dollar Tree. Yes, I've gotten some from the Dollar Tree.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you can. They have them there. I think they're called role-playing dice. They might even be called polyhedral dice. You're going to get a set of 6.
Nice.
So if you've ever run out of dice and you forgot your dice and you're close to a Dollar Tree, pop in. You might be able to get some for $1.25.
No matter where you are, you're close to a Dollar Tree.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah. And last thing for me is thank you very much for allowing me to do D&DC because it's near and dear to my heart. So thank you.
Don't get too emotional, dude. We don't do
Well, I'm
that.
not getting emotional. I'm just waiting to get done. Baldur's Gate is waiting.
He's like, gotta go.
Yeah, we're all waiting for you to get done, DC.
All right. Well, yeah, I think that about wraps things up, doesn't it?
I think so.
Does it?
I think so. With this new format. Yeah, that brings us right up to the end.
Oh, so you're gonna drop some nuggets on people?
I got some nuggets for
Just keep your nuggets off of me.
you.
Keep them off of the camera.
Right.
That's some good wisdom nuggets right there.
Right. We can just cut it right there.
That's a different podcast.
Sometimes the path you're on is not as important as the direction you're leading. Good night, everybody, and mega movie bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.